Enough is enough.
But enough is enough.
First, Trump and Melania's meme coins left the trenches wrecked. Then Cuba's Twitter got hacked and rugged us with a fake national meme coin. Then the Central African Republic rugged us with a real national meme coin. And now, Argentina's President Milei allegedly accepted a bribe to shill yet another crypto scam on Twitter. But this time, a botched plan has exposed crypto's meme coin mafia as a bunch of fruitcakes and loonies who are bleeding our bull market dry from the inside. So,
what the hell just happened?
Who are crypto's new villains, and is it all over for Milei, meme coins, and the bull market? My name is Guy. Stay tuned to find out. First, some context for those of you who don't dabble on decentralized exchanges. Every day, thousands of junk tokens are launched on-chain. They're collectively called meme coins, but most lack any of the properties like, say, humor or popular appeal that the word meme implies. Many are overspill from pump.fun. Others are the work of teams operating like ramshackle fishing boats, desperately casting hook after hook into the open ocean. Most never catch so much as a nibble from the market. But no matter. When the hooks cost peanuts and never run out, there's no need to waste bait or, funny memes trying to make any of them stick. Really, the less effort the better. You simply check crypto Twitter to see what word is being mentioned the most that day, scrawl it on the side of a hook, and cast your line. All right, enough with the fishing metaphor. Now, most tokens launched like this will be lucky if they last 24 hours before they're forgotten or destroyed in one way or another. This is common knowledge, but it doesn't stop traders competing to get in early. If you can scoop up a significant chunk of the supply at very low cost before anyone else, you're almost guaranteed some amount of profit. The earliest buyers are snipers, sophisticated traders who aim to corner the supply at launch. Once the snipers are in and out, there is no more being early, and the token can only sustain itself by competing for market participants' attention with the thousands of other new tokens launched every day. In many cases, holders who don't exit quickly enough are put out of their misery by a rug pull. Now, strictly speaking, rugging is the act of removing the liquidity pool, which is what makes the token tradable on decentralized exchanges. And this is akin to taking all the money in the pot and simply running with it. It nukes the chart and renders the token worthless. In reality, snipers or anyone else selling a significant proportion of the token's supply can have the same effect on the chart. But whatever the cause is, it's common to describe the end result as a rug. In most cases, crime is painted all over the chart for the world to see. But don't worry, nobody's looking. It's just another hour in the trenches. Some make money, most people lose money, the token is abandoned, and the world moves on. Or at least it did until this year. It was all fun and games until January the 18th, when Donald Trump announced the launch of his official meme coin and dropped the contract address on Twitter just 2 days before being inaugurated as President of the United States. Predictably, Trump immediately became front-page news around the world. By the 19th of January, it had reached a market cap of more than $14 billion, flipping SHIB to become the second largest meme coin after Doge. At its peak, 24-hour trading volume reached $42 billion. It was hailed by some as one of the greatest wealth creation events in crypto history, until the blow-off top was complete and gravity duly set in. In the end, most investors lost money, but the volume generated a fortune in trading fees for centralized and decentralized exchanges alike. Now, things started moving very quickly after this. On the 20th of January, Melania Trump, or others acting in her name, followed suit with the Melania token. Trump had already collapsed, and this sequel was received very poorly. Still, it attracted billions of dollars in trading volume and peaked at a market cap of almost $2 billion, which is more than most meme coins will ever accomplish. The same day, Cuba's foreign ministry announced the launch of a national meme coin, posting the contract address and ticker on Twitter. The token promptly rugged, and it turned out that the ministry's account had been hacked. Then, on the 9th of February, the Central African Republic launched a national meme coin which was authentic, but rugged all the same, losing 95% of its value within a day.
The Coin Bureau deals page. It won't make you stronger, but it will make you better at crypto.
Now, by this point, we really should have been ready for the next installment of the new nation-state meme coin meta. But nothing short of insider information could have prepared us for the explosive submission made by Argentine President Javier Milei, who promoted a meme coin called Libra on Twitter on the 14th of February. Milei's post described Libra as a, quote, private project dedicated to encouraging the growth of the Argentine economy by funding small Argentine businesses and startups, and duly dropped the contract address at the bottom of his tweet. Now, Libra barely gave anyone enough time to check if this characterization was accurate, as it topped and began rugging violently within 50 minutes of launch. This wasn't before Milei's tweet had drawn in billions of dollars worth of trading volume, though, enabling the ruggers to extract well over $100 million. The ghastly chart, paired with an apparently authentic tweet from the pro-crypto president of Argentina, laid bare the scale of the crime. This was a first, even for crypto. And you may be thinking, what about Trump? But these were two very different token launches. Trump was met with a groan from observers in crypto and condemnation from observers outside of it. The launch was sniped, and it was recently alleged that a meeting of insiders in Washington, D.C. was offered access to a pre-sale of some kind. This was likely at the pre-inauguration crypto ball, the timing of which coincided with the launch of Trump. We'll need further details on this Washington cohort, but for the moment it's safe to say that the snipers at least influenced Trump's hideous price action, which looks a lot like a pump-and-dump scheme. However, for all the valid criticism it drew, Trump was not a rug or a scam in the strictest sense. The sad truth is that most meme coins look like this sooner or later, whether or not a scam actually takes place. Nobody involved in Trump's launch sought to deceive investors about the nature of the token. It was explicitly presented as a bit of fun, and although the majority of buyers lost money and certainly didn't have fun, this probably does not constitute fraud. For example, Trump's tweet announcing the launch says, quote, "My new official Trump meme is here. It's time to celebrate everything we stand for. Winning. Have fun." The token's official website, meanwhile, bears a quote from Trump that reads, quote, "Celebrate our win and have fun." Beneath, the same disclaimer is plastered over and over. Quote, "Trump memes are not intended to be or to be the subject of an investment opportunity, investment contract, or security of any type." The tokenomics are spelled out clearly. So, you get the idea. Now, this is very different from a head of state presenting a meme coin as an enterprise to encourage the growth of their nation's desperately ailing economy by funding local small businesses and startups. Hours after Libra had rugged, Milei deleted his original tweet and explained that he had not been, quote, aware of the details of the project when promoting it, and that having learned a little more about it, he had, quote, decided not to continue spreading the word. Milei would return to damage control mode in the local media in the following days. But before he did, the plot thickened when a video emerged on Twitter of an odd character with cartoonish proportions claiming to be the very Milei advisor who had pulled the rug on Libra to the tune of $100 million. This was Hayden Davis, the 28-year-old CEO of Kelsia Ventures, an obscure family-run crypto market-making and venture capital firm who had orchestrated the launch of Libra, and, as it would later transpire, also Melania. Davis's video was highly unusual. He was exposing his identity and publicly confessing to a crime of historic proportions, all while seemingly cosplaying as a Pokémon character, yet the point of the video was to reassure the community of his good intentions. The message was, don't worry, I'm totally a stand-up guy and I'm only holding your $100 million until my client Javi sees the error of his ways and comes back to support Libra. Then I'm going to pump the money back into the chart, and then this is all going to be muy buena onda, trust me. It wasn't long before Hayden's brother, father and sister, all executives at Kelsier, started wiping their social media accounts. Possibly because of death threats, possibly to obscure their role in the crime, perhaps both. Now, Hayden's odd confession and demeanour were explained somewhat by subsequent interviews he did with investigative YouTuber CoffeeZilla and pizza-fancying sports troll turned meme coin grifter Dave Portnoy. In the first interview with CoffeeZilla, Davis made clear that he believed Milei would release a previously agreed-upon follow-up video promoting Libra. Now, to anyone who had witnessed any part of the Libra launch, this was inexplicable. How could he possibly expect Milei to double down on shooting himself in the foot? Well, secretly, Davis had reason to believe that Milei would indeed come to his rescue. This was revealed shortly after when CoinDesk leaked text messages from Davis provided by an anonymous source close to the situation. Davis: sweet. Also, we can have Milei tweet and meet in person and do promo. I control that, N-word. Reply: that's fucking sick. Davis: I send dollar to his sister and he signs whatever I say and does what I want. Craziest shit. Now, Javier Milei's sister, Karina Milei, is his general secretary, akin to his chief of staff. If these messages are to be believed, she is renting out the president of Argentina to foreign business interests, which is a kind of scandal in itself. Anyway, Davis apparently had reason to believe he controlled President Milei, hence his belief that Milei would return to fulfill his side of the deal. This appears to be Davis's rationale for suggesting that he could simply re-inject the $100 million he stole into the Libra chart and wash his hands of the situation. Now, whether or not Milei returned, this was always a stupid idea. However, as Milei went deeper into damage control mode and sought to distance himself further from Libra, his return became even less plausible. This no doubt contributed to Davis's initial calm turning to panic. In his second interview with Dave Portnoy, Davis was asked to whom the $100 million belonged, and he was surprisingly disarmed by the question. After much stuttering, he said it belonged to Argentina, a response so harebrained it offends the senses of anyone paying the slightest bit of attention. The notion that Libra was intended to accomplish anything for Argentina's economy was a lie intended to deceive an audience of one, namely Javier Milei. Davis went on to say that he didn't feel comfortable transferring the funds to his connections in the Argentinian government, i.e. Karina Milei. At the time of making this video, he has not revealed what he intends to do with the $100 million. Oddly, the scandal in Argentina appears to have been surprisingly transient, however. The Argentinian stock market fell by around 5.6%, only to recover its losses the next day. More than 100 legal complaints were filed against President Milei, and the opposition signalled its intent to have him impeached and tried for a variety of crimes alleged in connection with Libra. However, at the moment, the votes are not there to make this happen, so it appears to be a symbolic move. And at least on crypto Twitter, when the question of Milei's fate is raised, a common response is, "This is nothing compared to the average political scandal in Argentina, so no, Milei is not cooked." For example, the revelation that Davis accessed the Argentine president by paying off his sister seems to have come as less of a shock in Argentina than elsewhere. According to Bloomberg, quote, Karina is not only Milei's top advisor and strategist, but his gatekeeper. Talk to Curry is one of the most common phrases tossed around the president's circle when it comes to accessing the man himself. If anything, Milei may have to be more concerned about being implicated in a legal complaint filed in New York. Americans lost a lot of money in a clearly fraudulent investment scheme that crashed and burned in broad daylight, and if justice is to be served, the heads of those responsible for orchestrating and promoting it are going to roll. Then again, he's a sitting president, and it's not like his own government is going to extradite him to New York. In reality, The scandal has shamed crypto more effectively than it has Javier Milei. This was largely thanks to a series of revelations about rampant insider trading that began with Hayden Davis and spiraled outwards, implicating top Solana dexes Jupiter and Meteora. In his CoffeeZilla interview, Davis explained how Celsius had sniped its own launch of Libra and orchestrated the rug. He claimed that it was a benevolent maneuver intended to counter the inevitable damage that would otherwise be caused by third-party snipers capturing the token supply upon launch. From the moment the interview went live, Celsius was condemned for its supposedly well-intended act of insider trading, but the mood soured considerably after further leaked texts from Davis surfaced. In a conversation about another token launch in mid-January, Davis was asked about his goals for the launch. Quote, "I also don't know your long-term goals. You want to continue pump or you want to distribute all of the token ASAP?" To which Davis replied, quote, "Yeah, fellas, TBH, we're trying to max extract on this one." Observers on crypto Twitter were quick to herald this statement as this cycle's defining villain quote, akin to Do Kwon's "deploying more capital, steady lads," tweeted amid the collapse of Terra in May 2022. Others lamented how buffoonish our new villains are. By comparison, Sam Bankman-Fried and Do Kwon appear to be almost evil geniuses, or at the very least, sincerely interested in crypto. Hayden Davis and co. are amateurs by comparison, and there's something embarrassing about crypto being made to look bad by people who are not just reckless and criminal, but also really, really stupid. For example, Davis claimed, quite believably, to have little technical understanding of sniping. He expressed amazement at the ability of third parties to snipe launches without access to insider information. He pointed to the launch of Trump, where a single sniper, apparently unconnected to the Trump team, managed to profit around $108 million after spending $1 million as the very first buyer of the token. He also described his disbelief that anyone, with the exception of these mysterious snipers, could profit from any DEX token launch without access to inside information. By the end of the CoffeeZilla interview, viewers were left with the impression that the tiny number of meme coins that end up going anywhere are decided in advance by project insiders, and the only reason they do go anywhere is because those same project insiders engage in rampant insider trading. Davis suggested that insider trading is not only ubiquitous, but the only possible way to make money on meme coin launches. Reactions were split between those who were disgusted by this shocking revelation and those who were disgusted to have confirmed what they always suspected was true of the meme coin economy. All were grossed out by Davis saying the quiet part out loud, and so matter-of-factly. But, as I mentioned, Davis and Celsius were merely the players stupid enough to talk candidly about the game in public. Perhaps the most damning artifact to emerge during the Libra fallout is a secret recording of a call between Moti Powolotsky, a crypto founder acquainted with Davis, and Ben Chow, a co-founder of Meteora. For reference, Chow's Meteora co-founder is the owner of Jupiter, who goes only by Meow. Now, Meow recently announced an independent investigation into activities at Meteora under Chow's leadership. Meow claims to be confident that, quote, "no one at Jupiter or Meteora committed any insider trading or financial wrongdoing." Now, in the call between Powolotsky and Chow, Powolotsky described witnessing rampant insider trading and price manipulation perpetrated by the people behind Libra and Melania, the influencers paid to promote them, and top Solana projects including Meteora and Jupiter. Quote, "The whole thing just looks rotten to the very core, like I don't have words to express, and the worst thing of all is it's a president that gets a bad image. And whenever presidents get involved, and if they become angry, you don't want to be there. Not only that, this is international. This isn't $20. This is not $100 million. This is like 200 to... This is FTX type of shit." Chow's response doesn't inspire confidence in Meteora nor Jupiter by extension. Quote, "Hell, man, I feel sick. I feel so sick, man. Holy shit, I feel really, really fucking sick. Oh my god." The call is 26 minutes long, and this is just a sample. Chow adds later that he is, quote, "really scared, man." Around the time the call surfaced, he duly resigned as head of Meteora. All in all, this whole business is a pretty low point for crypto. The criminals of yesteryear look charismatic and, dare I say it, almost competent by comparison, and our only consolation at the moment is the new wave of memes about Gary Gensler disappearing just when crypto needed him the most. Of course, if the regulators had done their job properly over the last decade, we might not be experiencing this collective embarrassment. If the SEC had gone after genuinely bad actors like Hayden Davis et al., rather than harassing legitimate crypto businesses, then the scumbags behind Libra and countless other shady meme coins like it might not have felt so comfortable acting the way they did. But they thought they could get away with it, and, so far, they mostly have. So, no, we don't really miss Gary Gensler, but we can sure use a meme that actually makes us laugh right now. The words crime season are not funny anymore because they're true. Crime is indeed now legal, and the tokens did indeed get launched. If we want the words crypto and scam to be decoupled in the public imagination, something around here has got to change. Okay, let us know what you think about LIBRAgate in the comments. Smash that like button if you'd like to see less crime on your timeline, and make sure you're subscribed and have pinged the bell so that you don't miss our next video about where this crazy story leads to. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Guy, over and out.